Hello everybody, today we are going to be making cookies and talking. Just letting you guys know I don't bake. I don't cook, I don't bake.
I do.
I suck at it.
I don't.
I can put something in the microwave sometimes.
I am good at baking.
So it's mostly just gonna be Katie.
Although I will say that with this recipe, sometimes the cookies decide to be like kind of flat discs, but we'll see. I almost met Rosanna Pansino, fun fact.
Why almost? Why didn't you?
Well, she was doing like meet and greets, and I was supposed to meet her in Davis, and she went there, and she went to Idaho, I think was her stop before Davis, and then her bus broke down on the way to Davis, and so she wasn't able to come, and so I missed it, and I was gonna have my book signed by her and everything, but no.
Baking soda. Where'd you find that at?
The baking soda was in that cabinet over there. Me when I know Lexi's kitchen better than she
Where?
does. I don't know why I thought that was chips.
Chips.
See, but like if I get up here, all you see is boobs.
Yeah, but
You're welcome, world. Hi guys.
ahead of yourself.
Sorry.
Party bag.
What? I didn't put it anywhere. You were going to brought it in.
Yeah, I just put it. I just put it on the counter.
No, you didn't.
Yes, I did.
No.
Yes, I did. I didn't take anything out of it except for the egg. I left the chocolate chips and the vanilla in the bag.
Well, I didn't put it anywhere. Maybe Mama did. You're right here. You're accusing me of things.
Well, I didn't move it.
I'm gonna tell you guys the recipe so that you can make these if you want to. You need 2.5 cups of flour.
What song would save Harry from Vecna?
Harry?
Yeah, that I know this because one time in an interview he said if he had like 2 minutes left to live, he'd listen to "Helplessly Hoping" by some band.
Okay.
I'll put it up on the screen. I don't think it would help him run. What's another song he likes? I'm coming out. I want the world to know. But he played it at Lemon Tour. What do you?
No.
What do you think, Katie?
I have no idea.
Best and worst concert experience, or concert experiences in general. The best concert experience I've ever had. That is hard to say, but I'd probably have to be Louis in Cincinnati just because he looked at me and I was super close to him. Like, if I reached out, I could touch him. It's gonna be so hard to get out. You have to use a spoon, probably. Why would you do that? Butter all under your ring. Why would you take your rings off? And the worst concert experience, I hate saying that because the show itself has never been, I've never had a bad show experience. When I saw Tame Impala, we got there around like 1 or 2. At around like 4, it started pouring rain, so everyone was just soaked. They took us through security. They didn't scan our tickets. They took us through security and like the metal detectors and stuff. And it was an outdoor venue. It was Kemba Live in Columbus. And like we were waiting right at like to be let in. And doors were supposed to open at like 5:30, I think. We were really close to the front. Like we were like, oh yeah, we're getting barricaded like second row. And then it starts thunderstorming and pouring. There's like this siren going off, and it's like, take shelter, severe thunderstorm. And, like no one's moving because we're not leaving our spot. And like police officers come, like everybody's gotta go into the parking garage. Like this is a severe thunderstorm. We still didn't move. Like nobody listened to them. And then eventually they were like literally like pushing us like across the street. They gotta stop like traffic. We go into the parking garage, and then we realized that no one's communicating. Like Kemba Live was not posting anything on like Twitter or anything. Like Tim and Paula wasn't saying anything. Not saying it's their fault, but like there was nothing on social media about it. Our tickets didn't say anything. So like everybody was just standing in the parking garage, and it's like now the people who are at the end of the line are gonna be at the front of the line. So like we were really mad because we've been standing out in the rain all day, and the people that were at the back were gonna be in the front. And so then we just kind of all like went back into the line. Luckily I was like 3rd row. Oh yeah, and it kept getting postponed. It got postponed to like, they're like, okay, well the show doors will actually open at 8 now. We get in, the opening act's like starting. It's like 9. Tame Impala was supposed to come on at 9. We're like, actually we're postponing it till 10:30. So it didn't go on till 10:30. So the show didn't end till like 1 a.m. And it was really late. And it was just like really stressful, and it did not stop pouring the entire time. Like it was just like I was wearing jeans too, and my jeans were soaked, and my white chunky filas were stained colors from the confetti, which I love. Tame Impala was so good. Literally so good. It was worth it. But it was miserable.
Best, I would say Louis, because I just like, we camped for 14 hours and I met some like super cool people, and like we're still really good friends to this day. We go to a bunch of the same concerts and I just had a really good time with them. And the show itself was amazing, and Louis noticed me like 5-7 times or something like that, and it was pretty insane. I made him laugh, so big deal to me.
We both made him laugh. We're funny.
Slay. I feel like I don't really have a worst concert experience, but there were events that happened at the Louis show that made my experience really annoying, and I'm not gonna get into them because when I did before, I got attacked for it, but it has nothing to do with me, and it just made me really mad. And it was at Louis in Oakland, so if you know, you know, I guess, but it was a whole thing. So that was like my best concert experience and worst in one. Otherwise, I don't really have one.
The next one says Olivia.
I mean, this is your channel, so we can get into it.
Yeah, well, I mean, I just don't even know what I talk about. Like,
Not real.
like, obviously it's a stunt. I have nothing, I don't really have much to say unless there's some specific
You should
situation.
know Lexi's stance on Olivia if you watch her channel. I feel like it's pretty self-explanatory.
I think that it boggles my mind when people actually think that that's real, even if they're not Larry's, because it's not even about Larry, it's about the film, Don't Worry Darling, and having publicity.
People get mad and they'll be like, you just don't want Harry to be dating Olivia because you want him to be dating Louis. No. It's literally has nothing to do with Louis. It has to do with the stunt or the movie.
Because how problematic she is, the things that she said. And I don't want to hear people, like some antis will be like, y'all are just like pulling up stuff from her past. She said something homophobic in like 2019.
Yeah, it wasn't that
like
past.
It was not old. Like this is not anything old. And it's so obvious how hard she has flopped. Like, okay, Booksmart did pretty well.
Yeah.
Any other project she's done, and just her name in general has had like no publicity in it. Like, I didn't even know who the fuck she was. I literally did not know who she was until this stunt. The next one says Larry.
Yes.
I mean, that's all I really talk
That's
about
her
on this
entire
channel. So unless you have anything specific you want me to talk about Larry.
Firmly packed light brown sugar.
All I have to say is I love them. And I hope that they're getting their little 2-week break together is coming up. And I think that's just adorable. Did you see like their like tour like lineup, how they like lined their shows so they have a little break? When you first saw your One Direction friend group in person, what was going through your head?
Nothing.
Nothing.
Like
Head empty.
That's the best way I can describe it. It was literally nothing. I literally was just like, we had planned it because we were like, Lexi's already met Annika and Sean. So I was like, okay, so Annika run to me and Sean and Lexi go meet Jay. And then you see like I meet Annika and I'm hugging Annika and then I slowly turn and come face to face with Jay and scream.
Well, it was like, it's weird. I think it was weirder for me because I met you, Katie. You and Katie. I met you, Annika, and Sean. The only person I hadn't met was Jay. So, like, I don't know. I guess, like, what was going through my head was like, wow, Jay's tall.
Jay's really tall.
But everybody's tall to me. Everyone's tall to me.
Yeah. Jay's really tall and you don't expect it.
I don't know why. Like, they just give off, like,
no, it can,
short energy. That's not an insult.
No. They just
not
do.
Short, just, like, not tall.
Average, I don't know.
Average height, sure. Whether or not you think Harry would attempt to make homemade cakes for birthdays, totally.
Mm-hmm.
Harry's a housewife. I mean, have you seen the video of Harry cleaning around the house? That video? And then also, have you seen Louis try to cook? Harry's like, yes, I do the cooking, yes, I do the cleaning. She is the housewife. She bakes, she cooks, she does it all.
I love vanilla.
It doesn't taste like that.
It does not taste like that.
What the hell? Did you hear that? Did you hear that?
No. Well, I mean, I heard something, but I didn't find it super out of the ordinary. Oh, we have not been telling them the measurement. Sorry, you're not getting the recipe.
It sounded like she either like farted or like went like.
Slay.
Egg.
So now we're gonna mix it up. before we put the chocolate chips in.
Yeah, so they don't get crushed. Yeah, I feel like that would be more effective. Okay.
At this point.
Okay. Predictions for NH3. I don't really know what I can predict.
Yeah.
I don't know, but I want a freaking tour.
Yeah.
Because I was supposed to go see him when he was touring with Louis Capaldi, and I had a ticket. You
had single tickets.
I had 3 tickets, actually. Somebody commented brownies with cinnamon. Are they doing us a baking suggestion?
Maybe.
The Summer I Turned Pretty. Haven't watched it, but I heard that it's really cringe.
I have zero desire to watch it.
My friend Morgan and my sisters say that it's good. But I've seen clips on TikTok, and I'm like,
every clip I've seen on TikTok makes it
it's giving High School Musical, the series, the musical, the series. That's how cringy it is. Do theories, so like, do you believe in other universes? Yes.
Yeah. Well, I don't think, okay, other universes is strong because there's literal, like, there are other universes. Like, that's just outside of the Milky Way. Like, we know that there are other universes. But
like,
if you mean, like, other life forms,
where,
or like,
I exist in another universe, but, like, something slightly different, I
don't know.
I probably, like, I have no reason to say no.
The only reason that I would say, like, no, would mostly be because, like, what are the chances that in some other universe, my parents get together and have me? Like,
true, yeah.
Like, you're only going to look like me if you're from my parents and you got the exact same genetics that I did. So, like, what are the chances that in some other universe, because you're like...
What are the chances then your parents exist and get together?
Exactly.
At all.
Exactly.
If they did exist.
Exactly.
I don't know.
Because to exist, then their parents have to meet, and the list just goes on. So, like, if you say, like, oh, like, what are the chances... If your thing was, like, what are the chances that there's someone else in another universe who is me but, like, lives differently than me?
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's, like... Our parents live differently, so then they would meet under different circumstances, therefore they probably wouldn't meet. You know?
But there could be millions and millions and billions of different universes where everyone's just, like, slightly different.
I mean, I'm sure, but...
Like, that shifting stuff that became a trend on TikTok.
Shifting weirds me out.
I have no reason to believe that it's not real, but part of me just thinks it's, like, intense lucid dreaming.
Me too.
Because they're like, yeah, I shifted to Hogwarts.
I see, like, I shifted to Stranger Things all the time.
People were shifting to Hogwarts to do some dirty things with Draco Malfoy. No, this one's for you. What's your favorite thing to do when you visit Lexi?
I don't know. I don't have, like, I feel like there's not, like, a specific favorite thing. Because we do so many things. Like, I feel like we haven't done the same thing when we hang out except for, like, watch stuff. But I honestly do really like just, like, watching, like, movies and TV shows together. Because, like, that's just, like, fun. And I, like...
sitting there and,
it's
like,
sitting
watching
there...
stuff is, like, a break from your everyday life in general. So it's, like, relaxing.
Mm-hmm.
Anyways.
Yeah, and we talk through it, too. So, like, we just, like, hang out and stuff like that.
Hot takes on Harry's outfit from... this Lover tour.
And I get that, like, his thing right now is, like, patterns galore, like polka dots and chevron and whatnot.
It was, like, 2 chevron patterns, but it was, like, slightly different chevron patterns.
Yeah, so this was my least favorite one. And then my favorite one was in Scotland? No. Dublin. Yeah, the jumpsuit. Mint green.
Oh, yeah.
What's your hot take?
I feel like the outfits are a little more basic.
Yeah.
Live on tour we had suits, and then the American leg of Live on tour we had sparkly suspenders. I feel like it's a little more basic, but it's not that I dislike that. Like, I'm glad that he's wearing what he wants and what he's comfortable in.
But it's just like comparatively to last tour, it's more boring.
But he is doing sometimes the jumpsuit thing, which I think is really cool. It's giving Freddie Mercury. Now we can talk about Eddie's death.
I don't know what specifically I want to talk about. I'm just sad.
I don't want to talk about it at all. I don't want to talk about it.
Some people think there's a possibility that he's still alive.
I don't think he is.
I'm really upset about the fact that...
They didn't acknowledge his death?
No, because it was literally a 2-day jump. It wasn't even like...
that was weird.
It wasn't even like they...
A few hours after.
Yeah, it was like a 2-day jump. And, like, or not, even if it were like a few months, because that's what they did with Hopper. Like, they showed Elle reaction, and that was it. And, and that was fine, because they jumped a few months.
was not a good scene at all.
Elle's reaction to Hopper coming back was so... Ugh.
No, it made me so mad because she thought he was dead.
Yeah.
The way she acted when she was giving the presentation about him was more emotional.
Mm-hmm.
Like, she should have been shaking, crying, jumping on him, and like they just both acted like it was less of a big deal than it was. I don't know, like something was off about it, and I didn't really like that.
And it had nothing to do with David and Millie.
No.
It annoyed me that she was like, I knew you, I never stopped believing. Like, bitch, yes you did.
You literally thought he was dead. Since when? Like, since when did you never stop believing? That's just a lie. Going to college-er?
Yes. No.
I mean, you are. I'm already in college.
I'm not, well, okay, I'll explain because I guess.
You basically are.
So I'm going to a conservatory. It's called PCPA, and it's basically, it's technically speaking, it's like a trade school. Like, it's literally all theater all the time. Like, so I don't have to do any general ed or anything like that, and it's a 2-year program. And I have no idea what I'm doing after, but that's a later
You don't
thing.
need to know that. I know that I mentioned in previous videos that my major is child psychology, but I changed it because I realized that I hated that. And now I'm a film student. Harry wearing colors of each country's flag. Is he doing that?
It started off looking like that's what he was doing, and then he isn't anymore.
What is the best Louis song and why is it Miss You? That's a weird way to spell kill my mind. Which is the best brand of water? I have no idea. Whatever water I'm drinking right now is really good. I think it's like the Walmart generic brand of water.
I feel like, see, the thing is I say a water brand because it's the first one that comes to my mind. Like, I can't.
I hate to be that person, but I really like Smart Water.
No, that's it. Smart Water is really good. No, that person is Dasani. That's what people hate that you say. Like,
Yeah, I don't have a problem with Dasani. Like, I don't drink it and I'm like, ew. But it's not like, oh my god, this water's so good.
No, I one time said Dasani because it was the first one that came to my mind, and everyone was like, I can't believe you just said Dasani, that's the worst kind of water, it's salty and gross. No, it's not.
Number 1 on Harry's House, late night talking.
You're talking.
Favorite song to listen to in the shower? I don't have like a shower song, because I normally just put on like an album in the shower.
Right.
So I've been listening to Harry's House in the shower for the past like month.
I just put on any playlist, so it's not really. And
I
I'm
don't know
not.
why I have to listen to an album. I can't do a playlist in the shower. It's
I'm
gotta be an
not a shower singer though. Like everyone's always like, "What's
Yeah,
your
me
favorite song to sing
neither.
in the shower?" I don't sing in the shower.
album. Or if I sing, it's like.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
not.
yeah.
I don't actually sing. Like,
Like
I'll
people
just
are
like
like,
sing along.
"Oh, the best place," and they're like, "Ah," and I'm like, "No."
The best place. Ah.
I don't know.
You like cut yourself off when you're talking, and then you don't make sense. Favorite YouTuber? I can't just pick one.
Colleen, I don't know. I don't really
It
watch.
used to be Dan and Phil, but they kind of fell off the face of the earth, and I don't really care for the videos anymore. But I still love them so much that I feel like I have to say that. But right now, I probably watch Sterniolo triplets the most.
Oh yeah.
Or Colleen or Kiana JC.
I don't really watch YouTubers that much, but when I do, it's usually Colleen or Sterniolo triplets.
Favorite food? Sushi.
Potatoes.
What kind of potatoes?
Any kind of potatoes. You know why? Because potatoes are so diverse. They
There's a
can
lot you could do.
they can be legitimately anything.
They could taste a lot different too. Like, and you can put a lot of stuff on them.
Exactly. So I don't really have. I mean, a baked potato is always a solid choice.
I love baked potatoes.
But the thing is with potatoes is that they can legitimately be anything. Like you can have like potatoes, mashed potatoes, French fries, like the basic stuff.
Fries are the best though.
But then you have all the things that you can make with potato. Like you get like potato bread and like gnocchi, however you pronounce that, gnocchi, I don't know. That potatoes. You can have like potato this, potato that. Can legitimately be anything because it's like a carb and it's like the potatoes are amazing.
Favorite member of One Direction and 5 Souls and why? I don't really know if I could say why, but
Favorite member?
Harry and Luke.
Favorite member of One Direction, Louis. I don't have a favorite 5 Souls member because I'm not really a stan, but I think Luke. Luke or Ashton. I know that those are like probably the basic,
Ashton
most
has
basic
my favorite
answers.
solo music. I mean, I know it's only Luke or Ashton, but I love Ashton's solo album so much. But Luke is my favorite. I don't feel like I can, like, have a reason. And also, like, I say Harry, but it's really Harry and Louis. I don't know.
My thing with Louis is that he just feels like his entire presence just feels like a hug. And I know that, like, Harry's presence a lot of the time feels that way, too. Like, it feels like it's, I don't know, like, his concerts and everything just feel so loving and everything. But something about Louis' just, like, aura, if you could say that, like, it just, like, feels like he's hugging you, even through a screen. Like, and I just...
If I had, like, the opportunity to either meet Louis or Harry, I'd probably meet Louis. Not anything against Harry, but he is very, like, awkward and quiet when meeting people. I would be the same. Like, I'm not very talkative unless I, like, really know someone. So, like, not saying that's a bad thing, but I feel like Louis and I could carry out a conversation for longer. I could probably ask him a question and, like, we could have, like, a little chat.
It's definitely gonna need to go on.
But Harry would be so, like, quiet that it would make me, like, kind of nervous. Like, I'd be like, oh, like, I feel like I'm inconveniencing him, which I probably would be if I ran into him in the street and, like, stopped him, because who the hell wants to be stopped when you're in the middle of doing something? But Louis is, like, every video you see of somebody meeting Louis, he's like, hi, love, like, how are you? Like, he's so, like, bubbly and, like, I don't know. I feel like we could just have a nice little chat.
I feel like he's a lot more social.
I think Harry and I could have a chat, too, but...
He'd have to warm up to you. Like, if you just met him on the street, it wouldn't...
Like, it'd have to be, like, a situation where we would, like, meet in multiple occasions and, like, maybe, like, some sort of work thing, and, like, then he'd end up being more comfortable. Young Royals and Heartstopper.
Period.
Young Royals and Heartstopper. Trying to kill me.
I'm terrified for the next season of Young Royals. I'm both excited and terrified for the next season of Heartstopper.
Well, a lot of people are saying they think that Simone's gonna get another love interest.
If that happens...
Okay, that's just a theory, though. Like, people are just thinking that. Like, nobody
there is a new character, they say.
Yeah, but why does that mean it has to be a love interest? It doesn't. I don't think it will be, because because he didn't say I love you doesn't mean he's just completely over it.
I don't think that he's gonna be able to get over Wilhelm. Like, I think that
even if he does have another love interest, I feel like it'll be like a little relapse, and then it will immediately be like, wait, I was wrong.
Wilhelm was right for me. And
but it's like the way that it ended is so frustrating because like they both had their reasons to like, I don't know, like Simone had the right to be mad at Wilhelm for like basically saying like, oh, I'm gonna say it's me, like we're in this together, and then completely just disregarding what they agreed on. But at the same time, Simone needs to understand like he doesn't really have control of all that. Like his mom literally manipulated him into changing his mind, which I wish that Wilhelm would have communicated that to Simone. Be like, no, like my mom had this long talk with me and made me feel like crap about telling the truth and said that I need to say that it wasn't me. Like I wish that they would have sat down and had that mature conversation, but I think they were both so overwhelmed.
I understand why Simone was mad, and I understand why Wilhelm was upset, but they didn't hear each other out like that at all.
It's very miscommunication. Like they just need to talk that out. And like, but I don't think.
Because it wasn't even necessarily Wilhelm completely. Like, it was his mom. And yes, technically, like, yeah, you're 17 years old. Like, you can make a decision for yourself.
Yeah.
But at the same time, like, when you're, like, supposed to be, like, the king and everything
and his brother just died, too. Like, he was not used to all the pressure on him. And now suddenly it's all on him. Right. And he was outed. He's not just outed, but his sex tape.
His sex tape. Like, it wasn't,
Yeah, like, it's just so much happened. And, like, he literally has no one. Absolutely no one. Like, he doesn't have real friends. Like, I guess he has Felice now, kind of. But, like, August is obviously not there for him. When Eric was like, oh, yeah, August is going to be like a brother to you. Like, he'll be your family here. And now he's not. He doesn't have his brother. His parents are homophobic. He doesn't have Simone anymore. So, like, he has no one. He literally has no one. Like, the one scene where, like, he was on the phone with his mom and, like, saying, like, oh, I know it was August or whatever. And then she's like, well, it's fine, whatever, like, I'm not gonna do anything about it. And he's just, like, standing there. It's literally, like, it breaks my heart, because he literally has nobody. He's got no one.
Yeah. Heartstopper.
That's happy.
We already know, I mean, happy is a strong word for it, because it's Paris.
I meant as of now.
Yeah.
Like,
everyone always says about Heartstopper, they're like, Paris trip. But I feel like the worst of it comes after the Paris trip. Like, yes, the Paris trip is sad.
There's already been foreshadowing to Charlie's eating disorder. Like, I saw someone reacting to like the first season, and then they were like, that shot of the cereal is so unnecessary. And I'm like, but it's not though. Like, it might seem like it is, but like when I was first watching the show, because I read all the comics before watching the show, and I saw, like, them zoom in on him, like, eating the cereal, like, my jaw dropped. I was like, no, they're gonna do so much foreshadowing, and they did. And I'm, like, really glad that they did, so it shows that, like, eating disorders are progressive. Like, it doesn't just, like, happen, you know? But, oh my god, yeah. I think it's gonna be very happy, obviously. Like, it's a lighthearted show, and it's a family-friendly show.
But they do touch on, like, important topics, which is good. And I'm very excited to see Joe play into that and, like, see how he does that. And I'm very excited, even though it's such a sad scene, I'm so excited for Nick's talk with his mom on the beach.
Kit's gonna do such a good job at that, because there are tears coming from Nick in the comics. So I'm like, ah! And, like, the dinner with, David and, like, their dad. I cannot wait for Tori to kick the phone out of... Oh my god.
I'm so excited to see more from Tori, too, because she's in this season a lot more. What a freak.
And I know Alice mentioned wanting to do solitaire. The way that they could incorporate that as being, like, half Tori and half, like, Nick, Charlie, and, like, the rest of the group, like they kind of did in the first season, where half of it was, like, Nick and Charlie, the other half was, like, Elle and Tao and, like, the rest of the group. So it wasn't, like, it's kind of, like, half and half. It's not just Nick and Charlie. Like, I'm curious to see how they do that.
Yeah.
I hope it gets renewed for, like, as many seasons as Alice wants it. And it's just, it becomes completely finished.
Yeah.
That's all I want. Talk about the One Direction reunion.
Not gonna happen?
Yeah. I think that if they ever have a reunion, they'll be, like, 50 years old, and they'll be, like, a reunion tour.
Yeah.
Maybe not 50 years old, but, like, old.
Old. They're not gonna do it anytime soon, and I'm sorry if that's hard news to hear, but it's true.
They're
For
all
multiple
so
reasons. Well. Like, even before any reasons came about, I didn't think that it was gonna happen.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's just, like, they're doing so well solo-wise, and they, like, as much as, yes, a One Direction tour would do great, like, I've seen people say that they would unstan Harry if he rejoined One Direction, which is absolute bull, but also weird. It's just, like, not that that's necessarily going to make Harry not be in One Direction, but, like, I don't think it's going to happen.
And, like, obviously, he liked being in the band. That's not me saying he didn't like being in the band, but Harry, is doing so well right now. There's no reason for him to want to go back. And, yes, he enjoyed it, and I'm sure they all enjoyed it to some extent. Even Zayn. Like, you know, he said, like, he did have good moments, and he loves the boys like brothers. But it was so... They were treated so horribly.
Mm-hmm.
Like... What? They were literally treated so horribly.
Yeah.
And having some... Like, definitely, they don't have a ton of freedom, but having a little bit more freedom now...
I think if they were to come back, they would do it once Louis' management team is up and running, and they would be managed by his management company. Yeah. Which may be a long shot, but I think that it's very possible because Louis knows how he wants his management company run, and they don't have to risk being signed with someone else.
If they could ever get the, like, One Direction brand completely off Psycho, which would be very difficult because they were formed on the X Factor, which means they are always under Simon Cowell. Like, they were made by him, and it would take a lot of, like, legality to get that changed. I think that then there's a possibility. Even just with the stuff that Liam said, I think Liam's at a really dark place right now. Like, we know that he was sober, but he posted that stuff about Maya on his story. Then he apparently cheated on her. And now he's talking shit about other members on a podcast with Logan Paul while drinking.
Yeah.
It's just going, like, I do not hate Liam. I do not hate Liam. Am I happy about what he said and where he's at right now? No. But I think he's at a dark place and he needs to get himself together. Not saying he's a bad person. What he said about Zayn was not okay at all. I think his intentions weren't to just, like, shit on him. But, one, he wasn't sober, and two, he just kind of, like, kept running his mouth and just let it get too far. And then it was like, you can't be saying that stuff about other people's family life, especially when Zayn doesn't talk about his family life publicly. It just doesn't sit right to me to be saying that. This is how they're looking.
It's so dense.
Yeah.
Like, it's cakey.
Okay, well, we're gonna, like, try to fix this, and then we will come back.
You're Your shower does not get warm.
That's because the cold is the warm and the warm is the cold. It's backwards. So you have to turn it all the way cold for it to be hot.
Okay.
We made cookies.
They're more like scones.
Let's get a close up. Oh, live action.
They're very dense.
They taste fine, but not like a cookie.
They're not cookies though. And these are not how they normally turn out when I used to do them. Normally, when I do them, if they turn out badly, it's because they turn out super flat.
But we
and
also
crunchy.
used not stick butter because Katie didn't look and see if I had any. But it's fine, they taste good. Thanks for watching us talk and me not help. Okay, bye.